I'm a guy that's 25. Lego Star Wars is my life. I like Ryan Johnson. I'm Rich Boy J. Hello boyos, Rich Boy J here back with another video, and this is going to be another episode of collecting every Lego Star Wars minifigure that has ever been made. This is a series where, well, like the title says, I'm trying to collect all the Lego Star Wars minifigures. This does include the rare figures like the Cloud City Boba Fett or the Chrome Gold C-3PO. This does not include those one-off figures made of rare earth metals. But let's jump right into the video today. First up, we have an X-Wing pilot and a TIE Fighter pilot with squadrons dropping pretty soon. Basically in line with that, we're going to talk about some pilots. First up, we have what Bricklink just calls Rebel X-Wing pilot. This came from the 2020 Yavin 4 planet set. This is a pretty basic looking X-Wing pilot. I feel like I reviewed so many of these on the mock build series. This was that phase when I'd say this was like the middle phase of X-Wing pilots. Like this was obviously updated enough to where they were actually putting the visor on the faces, but it wasn't updated enough to where they weren't just putting this flat orange color on the face. Instead, I don't know, it just looked more transparent. I don't know how much that makes sense, but if you look at the newer X-Wing pilots, it isn't just this flat orange color. They tried a bit harder to make it look like it's transparent as opposed to like someone just face painted a Rebel pilot and put orange on it. There is no reverse face in case you were curious, but this is also that period where we have the slightly more detailed X-Wing pilot torsos, but not the super detailed X-Wing pilot torsos that we get nowadays. So this is really just in that transitional period with Lego. I have to say this is just an average figure at this point. I mean, I feel Lego has just knocked it out of the park with the more recent X-Wing and really just Rebel pilot jumpsuits in general. Those have to be some of my favorite minifigures that Lego puts out just because of all the detail they put into the torso as well as into the legs. Next up, we have the TIE Bomber pilot. This is one I'm excited to get. This is one of the, I'm pretty sure the only TIE pilot variant right now that I was missing. So this is a pretty important addition to my collection. This came in the 2013 TIE Bomber and Asteroid Planet set. So both of these guys are from Planet sets. And I really like this figure. This is a nice figure for one, just because the helmet has somewhat of a unique design. I think one of the signature signs of the TIE Bomber helmet that Lego has made is just the silver detailing on the top of the helmet right there. So that looks pretty good. This is also one of the figures that features the balaclava head, which makes sense. This is exactly where the balaclava head should be. The pilots wear these, so it makes a lot of sense. I think the only downside to these heads is because it's printed on black, they aren't really able to get an actual flesh tone looking face like you'd see here. It's not a huge deal, because I mean, this guy could just be kind of tan, but I think it's kind of jarring seeing just that skin tone on a Lego minifigure, because they don't actually make a color that perfectly matches up with this. This is basically just a mixture of the Lego flesh tone and the black that's underneath it. It's not an actual color that Lego tries to produce anyways. It has some pretty decent torso printing with the two tubes going to the console on their chest. This guy also has some decent back printing, and like this figure over here, no leg printing. Next up, we have some clone figures. First up, we have the Geonosian. This came in two sets, surprisingly. It was in the 2011 Geonosian Starfighter as well as the 2013 Advent Calendar set. This is the updated Geonosian, which feels kind of weird to say considering it's been what seems like forever since we've gotten one of these. But I like this figure a lot. This is one of the few figures that I prefer the Clone Wars version of over the original version. I feel this Clone Wars Geonosian, the head mold is just significantly better than the original one. I think the torso print also looks great. I love the negative space used on the sides to kind of represent the Geonosian body. And the leg printing also looks really good. If we flip him around, we can see he does have some back printing, which mirrors the front in regards to the negative space on the hip areas of the Geonosian. I really like this figure. This is one that I think, I mean, if Lego decided to put out a Geonosian battle pack at some point, I'd love to get that to army build these guys. But until then, I don't think these are super expensive on Bricklink. So this is a good avenue to go if you want to build a Geonosis mock. These are some great figures that, even with it being technically outdated just because of how old it is, I think it's still worth having a bunch of these in your collection. It's a figure worth army building even 9 to 7 years after they originally came out. Next up, we have Plo Koon. This is the updated Plo Koon. Berglink describes this as Plo Koon with the tan undershirt. You can see it there. The figure I got has a bunch of scratches on the torso, which is kind of annoying. It's not going to keep me up at night. This isn't a figure that I care to have a super new perfect version of, but when I did get this in, I was like, oh, like those scratches are actually quite noticeable, especially when I have it on camera. You can see it directly reflecting off of the light. This Plo Koon came in the 2014 AV7 set. That's a set I wish I got, man. It came with 2 of those Wolfpack Troopers. Oh my god. Anyways, this figure is also pretty nice. This is I guess also technically a Clone Wars figure, but I think this definitely looks better than the original Plo Koon, which just had a more simplified torso. This was that point in LEGO, 2014, when they were really starting to put a lot of detail into these Clone Wars figures. I feel like a lot of those original Clone Wars figures were very obviously under detailed, but I can't say that this is one of them. There's a good amount of detail on this figure. If we look at his back, he has some decent back printing with his belt and the top part of his Jedi tunic. Overall, I mean, I think if there's one alien that definitely deserves a new head mold in general, it has to be Plo Koon. Like, this isn't a bad head mold by any means, but I just feel like when I look at Plo Koon, his head just seems so much wider at the top. Like, these ears should be so much more pronounced. Like, I feel if LEGO made this figure and they really tried to put printing in the ears, like this could be significantly improved, even on the face and the eyes. This is, like I said, this isn't a bad figure, but I think Plo Koon could certainly use an update in LEGO figures. So hopefully we get that at some point soon, because next up, we have some Vaders. Yes, lots of Vaders here in this episode. I couldn't believe that there were 3 Vader variants out there that I didn't have. Not just because I feel like I have a lot of minifigures, but I'm just surprised there are this many Vader variants. The first 2, well, we're talking about the first one. We'll go in order. The first one is Vader with black head. As you can see, he has a black head. This was from a 2007 and 2010 watch set. The next one is pretty much the exact same figure, except he has a head. This is called the Imperial Inspection Vader from 2006. If you raise his helmet, he has eyebrows. That is kind of funny. Only because there's been such a, I don't know, I guess this isn't a super well-known Star Wars fact, but basically Vader in the original release of Return of the Jedi did have these eyebrows, and they were digitally removed in the special editions, basically to coincide with the Revenge of the Sith Anakin that we see. Like, we obviously see like all of his face gets burnt up, so there's no way his eyebrows would be going back. So George went in and he did what George do, and he got rid of the eyebrows digitally, and we've seen that basically represented in LEGO. This one over here is called Darth Vader Death Star Torso 2009. No eyebrows. So we take this off, we can see it's a similar head, but this guy is not sporting the eyebrows. It's so funny that, a special edition change we've seen even kind of represented in LEGO. If you want to have your special edition Vader head, you can get this boy without the eyebrows, but if you want to keep it OG, you do have an option for a LEGO Vader with eyebrows. Like I said earlier, these 2 figures on the left side are both just the exact same figure. This is pretty much the original Vader figure in terms of the aesthetic. No back printing whatsoever on either figure. You can raise his cape up as well. But he is sporting that original helmet, of course, which I know a lot of people still prefer this helmet. I, for one, prefer the new version, but I'm not one for nostalgia. The final Vader with a Death Star torso and no eyebrows came in the 2009 magnet set. There's so many of those magnet sets and watch sets, and oh my god, like, I just think about how much the series would be condensed if LEGO didn't just shove random variants into those obscure magnet and watch sets. But this one is a little bit more detailed. You can see this is when Vader, I think, really took a step forward, because the chest plate finally has more silver in it, which looks really good. Just the robes, the robes on the sides of his torso also look better. And he finally has his utility belt, which I think looks awesome in LEGO. Like, this is really where LEGO took a step forward with Vader. We can see he raises his cape up. He also does not have back printing, which for a character like Vader isn't a huge deal. He's wearing a cape. The cape typically covers it. I do still appreciate the leaps this figure took forward in terms of just the torso detail. Now it's time for our final group of figures. Starting over to the left, we have a C-3PO variant. I feel we don't get tons of those here in this series. This is from the 2005 Sandcrawler, and the unique thing about this C-3PO is simply that it is a pearl gold C-3PO with light pearl gold hands. That is literally it. We see the light pearl gold C-3PO on some of the early LEGO Star Wars sets. We see the pearl gold C-3PO, which is what we saw pretty much right after that. And this one was just a weird combination of both of them. It's C-3PO with lighter hands. That's literally it. Same old C-3PO, a little bit of back printing, which is kind of nice. Not really too much to talk about. I think the lack of face printing really sticks out, having looked at so many of the recent C-3POs compared to it. Next up, we have the Endor Rebel Commando with a beard. This came in the 2009 Battle of Endor set. This wasn't an expensive figure, but a surprisingly hard one to find. Like, there just weren't a ton of these guys on Bricklink, but I do really like this figure. I always point out that I think this helmet just looks awesome. I love what LEGO did with these Endor Rebel helmets. The sand green band that wraps around, I think that's like a dark tan helmet, and the dark gray little earpieces on the sides. Those just all look very good. It's a great looking LEGO helmet. The face print looks decent. It's obviously outdated because he doesn't even have pupils, but this was basically the second version of the Endor Rebel that you got in that Battle of Endor set. He does not have any leg printing, which is kind of disappointing because I feel there's, in this specific outfit for the Rebels, there's so much detail, so leg printing really would make a figure like this go a long way. But his torso does at least look very nice. He has the bandolier going across his chest, nice little utility belt, the gray undershirt behind the jacket he's wearing, and he has some back printing as well with the hood. Bandolier comes around the back, and of course the gray belt that wraps around the back. Overall, pretty solid figure. I think if you were building an Endor mock today, I personally would use the ones that came in the Tidarium set, but these don't look bad. I think if you swap out the head, maybe find some sand green legs with a little bit more detail, this could be a suitable figure in an Endor mock even today. The final figure we're going to look at is a Santa Darth Maul. I was happy to get this one just because these Santa figures, I mean, I'm not the hugest fan of them. They're kind of whatever to me, but they only come in one set, and I like having all of them. You know, the completionist in me is like, I need to get all the Santa figures. So this is Santa Darth Maul. This came in the 2012 Advent calendar. You can see that he has basically a torso, or a custom torso actually, similar to what we see in the films. I feel the belt right there is pretty trademark for Darth Maul, but it's basically redone to look like Santa's robe. His face print is same Darth Maul face print we've gotten in tons of sets, but he also has this kind of cool little red hood with the white puffy stuff on the edges of it, and it works pretty well for a Santa Darth Maul, I guess. If we flip him around, we can see that he actually has some pretty funny back printing here. He has a candy cane sticking out of his back belt, which is honestly kind of funny. And I think a nice surprise, like if you just got this figure and you didn't really know too much about it, if you were just trying to examine it and you lifted that up, you'd probably get a chuckle out of that. So pretty decent figure. You know, I definitely prefer this face to the big, goofy, cheesy, smiley Darth Maul that we get nowadays. But overall, I think I've gotten a decent selection of figures today. I'm going to go ahead and jump to the time lapse so we can get these on the Minifig Wall. $15 for the cheapest 501st Trooper on Bricklink. Ooh, yeah, my name is Rich Boy J, but these prices too high for me. Ooh, welcome to a 501st announcement, and I thought it was a dream. Ooh, it's a 501st movement, and we lit, you thought it was a meme. Ooh, I was checking eBay every day trying to find a fix for cheap. Ooh, bought one and I was done, couldn't even afford to build an army. Ooh, August 1st be the date, everything will change, I'm counting down the weeks. Ooh, who gon' buy the most? Rich Boy David Matt, we about to see. Ooh, at the LEGO store, Gunship gang up on my shirt, I'm looking fresh to death. Ooh, toss some money on the counter, I need every battle pack that's on the shelf. Ooh, ain't enough for me, check the back room just to see if any left. Ooh, come between me and my battle pack, you a traitor, call you Pawn Krell. Ooh, battle pack had me like, whoa, it's young Rich Boy with the flow. Hit up one store, buy up the battle packs onto the next one, cause I need more. I don't know how many I'ma have to get, or how much. Man, look at me with an almost full looking minifig wall. Just ignore that section right there. I got 3 Vaders placed on the wall. The first one up here, I didn't have a spot for, so he got the side standing treatment, which actually doesn't make sense because this wasn't one of those figures that were added to the catalog after I made this wall. There should have been a spot for that figure, and there just isn't, which I guess shows my carelessness when it came to making sure that these figures were in their correct places, and also illustrates why I am in no rush to reorganize this wall. I'm going to basically just keep buying figures until it looks mostly full, because I want to get this right. I don't want to be in a situation where I reorganize it and then realize I made yet another mistake. So I'll just keep cramming these figures in between where they should be. That way, when the wall does extend a bit, I'll have the proper room for them, and I'll hopefully just be a lot more careful when it comes to organizing these figures. The other Vader that we placed was over here. He was next to this Super Battle Droid, which was kind of interesting. This was the Death Star Vader with no eyebrows, so special edition Vader's chilling right there. Interestingly enough, the Vader with the black head is right here, which shocks me, because this is like the original Vader design, aside from the black head, so it's weird that LEGO put out this archaic Vader so late in the run. It could be the case where this figure just ended up with a really late minifig number, even though it is an older figure. However, if I remember where I got this, I'm pretty sure this wasn't, a super old figure. So it's weird to see, you have the updated Vaders as we move along, and then we pretty much go back right here. But it was in a watch set, so no one's really going to care. Santa Maul is also chilling right here next to the I Forgot How to Swing at a Sith Lord gang. Looking pretty good, too. I really like that Maul figure. And if I'm not mistaken, this actually might finish off my collection of the special Santa figures. I think I'm good now. I think I am. That's awesome. But overall, the wall's looking pretty solid as usual. You can see my effort to really fill in these blanks towards the middle and top sections are working out. If you're just looking at it, it's really hard to spot the blanks, which is good. That's what I'm going for. There's some sections in here, so where I still have clusters of figures that need to be added, but it's all good. It's all good. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there slowly but surely. So that's gonna finish up the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed checking out yet another Minifig Wall update. If you like what I do, go ahead and support the video by hitting the like button, support the channel by smashing that subscribe button, and I'll be back again very soon.